Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guests today are from the upcoming Mirrorbox Theatre production of The Parking Lot. Director of the play and artistic director, Kevin Hallman. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, good to see you.
And the two cast members of The Parking Lot, who also are married in real life, Marcia and Scot Hughes. Welcome to both of you.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
So, for the past several months, 6 months of the pandemic, Kevin, Mirrorbox has been staging online readings of brand new plays, which have brought a variety of different voices and talent to the community at a time when we really need it. But this is an actual in-person performance. So tell me about The Parking Lot.
Yeah, it is. It's really exciting that we have found this way to safely bring a live theater production back to our community. You mentioned our online reading series, Out the Box. So we actually did a reading of a play, The Wooden Heart by Adam Simkowitz, earlier this year, and started developing a relationship with this playwright. And he had been working on this play that he developed specifically to be done during the pandemic, performed by two performers who already live with one another, so that they've already been exposed to one another, and where all of the attendees watch from within the safety of their cars, and the sound is broadcast over FM radio. So that's kind of the logistics about it, but the story is just, I think, wonderfully universal for anyone who's been in a long-term relationship. It's about a couple, and this couple who has been married for quite a while, although they are reluctant to share how long they have been married. This couple finds themselves a little bit in a loop where they keep having the same argument over and over again. And so they decide to, in a way, put their relationship on trial in the form of a play in front of an audience in a parking lot. And so what we see are these 20 scenes from their marriage as they determine whether those moments are things that fill them up, or whether it's time to find a different way to move forward with their lives.
Marcia and Scot, tell me a little bit about your characters. Marcia, you first.
I play Jay, and she is the one that's reluctant to say how long that they've been together. Flat out, I'll admit that. She dances around that. I think she has some hesitancy with that number. She's the one who kind of set this all in motion as a character. She sort of wanted to examine this with her partner, and so she's invited him to this parking lot and kind of set this whole thing up to have this happen. So she has her own insecurities and her own strengths. I found a lot of things that were similar, but more things that are not similar to me, which has made it great to work on. She has moments where she's completely lost, and other moments where she's definitely driving the traffic that's happening in the story.
Scot, how about your character?
Well, I play Terry, a husband, of course, and Terry is in many ways floundering, both personally and professionally in his life. And this whole experience of being in the parking lot and trying to work out the relationship with Jay, I think helps him determine what's really important to him in his life, and what centers him, and what he can hold on to as a foundation. And I think he finds that by the end of the show.
Talking with Scot and Marcia Hughes and Kevin Hallman from Mirrorbox Theater's production of The Parking Lot, which goes up, Kevin, when?
September 18th through 26th.
And it will be in the parking lot at CSPS in Cedar Rapids, correct?
It's true. Form follows function with this one. Absolutely.
So one of the reasons why this is presented in the parking lot, not only because of the pandemic, but from what I understand, the scenes in the couple's marriage, a lot of them happen in parking lots. Am I getting that right?
they find themselves again kind of there are these echoes throughout their relationship, and one of those things that echoes is that they do find themselves kind of having some of those big moments in parking lots. You know, a proposal, kind of the defining fights. But I also want to make sure it's really clear, while there are those conflicts and we get to see them working through those conflicts, there's a lot of lightness. There's really I think the playwright has done a beautiful job of trying to capture the full spectrum of emotions and events within a relationship's life, and so we're getting to see joyful moments in parking lots. We're getting to see difficult moments in parking lots, and moments that are elsewhere. You know, we're transported a little bit, but yeah, they find themselves in these parking lots, and that's a big reason why they choose to do this here.
Scott, I think that one of the bigger challenges of doing a play like this, just from the actor perspective, taking away all of the complications and things like that that the pandemic has brought to us, is when you play scenes from throughout somebody's life, you have to go back in time. You're playing the character a lot younger. Tell me about that a little bit.
Well, that is kind of a challenge, but as we've worked on it, and we have worked on it with Gavin and Marcia, of course, to kind of make those changes, you kind of have to mentally transport yourself back into the person you were at that time, or the person the character was at that time. And you know, we're going back, you know, like 30 some years in a couple of cases. And it's like, you know, Terry probably had hair then, you know, just, you know, the little things to kind of make the recall back of, well, how would I have acted, you know, in this situation at that time back then? And once you mentally get there, you know, the physicality kind of comes along with that in a lot of ways. But it is a challenge. It really is.
Marcia, tell me about the rehearsal process. As Kevin said at the top of the show, this is designed for a married couple who are living together, but of course you had to rehearse remotely. And I know that you have done some of the online staged readings with Mirrorbox and some other things as well that have been virtual performances. But describe a little bit the doing a live rehearsal with Scott, probably at your house, or maybe now in the parking lot as we've gotten a little bit closer to the show, while he is remote.
Well, it actually, because of how it's written, it lent itself to some wonderful opportunities for some table work with Kevin, for Scott and I to do, because we were at our home and Kevin was elsewhere. And so that it gave us the opportunity to be able to work virtually for a while. And then when we moved outside, that work had really informed a lot of what was going to happen going forward. So we were able to, we had that in place, and we're able to immediately get into sort of working out the logistics, as it were, as you would on any stage, because really it's not unlike being on any stage. It's a parking lot. It's outside, it's a parking lot. So we were able to work out those logistics. And since Scott and I were able to work on lines together and or separately since we were home, I think for me, I'll speak for me, it was really helpful for me to have Scott, my scene partner, right there to when I was working on memorizing. I know that we did quite a bit of it separately too, but it was very helpful to set aside time to be able to work on that jointly and have that opportunity. We rarely have the chance to, when we help each other with lines, be the actual other scene partner. So that was great. And it was also terrific to have Kevin's input virtually with the table work before we got into trying to do any of the blocking with it. And oftentimes when you're working in a show under what were a pre-pandemic structure, you didn't get that table work time. You kind of came in and took off on it, has been my experience. So I've really appreciated that this was a chance to really focus on that.
Did any of the lines, the emotions, the character work carry over into your real life? Was it difficult sometimes to turn it off and then just go fix supper or watch TV and go back to being your regular selves?
They are now. There's lines that either one or the other of us are saying like every day. Like this morning, what did I have? A couple of them this morning, Scott, before I even left for work, where I was.
Yeah, I don't remember what it
said
was.
Something,
Yeah.
but things that'll happen that won't have anything to do with the play, but the lines from these characters fit right into those situations. So we are finding ourselves doing that. I know I am.
Kevin, tell me a little bit about the logistics of buying tickets, you know, pulling into the parking lot, parking.
Yeah, absolutely. So tickets are available. You can find the link at mirrorboxtheatre.com. We're right there at the top of our homepage, or you can go directly to csps.org. So we are partnering again with CSPS, where all of our physical productions prior to this took place as well. So tickets are available, and it's $40 per vehicle. You can put as many people inside your vehicle as you want. I'll say probably just the front 2 seats are going to get the best view. But yep, you can put as many people in your vehicle as you want. And on the day of, there's the entrance to the parking lot. The patrons will come in from that side, that alley where the Analog Vault record store is there at CSPS. And we have ushers who will be guiding people into the parking lot and backing them up so that they're oriented towards the stage. And then at that time, we'll let them know what the radio frequency is for the night, and they'll be able to tune in over their car radios and hear the performance as they watch it live. What's the maximum number of vehicles you can handle per show? 22 cars, 22 cars or trucks per show is our max. So, and so it's kind of just like we've done again prior to the pandemic at C-Space at CSPS. It's in many ways an intimate performance. It's the stage is larger in the sense that the parking lot is a little bit larger, but you're still in a small group of people experiencing something live with that temporary community for a short period of time, and I think that I love seeing all of the innovations that our local companies are doing. For me, it's so important that the work that Mirrorbox does is live, and that we're creating opportunities for people to see live art and to have that communal experience again, and to do it safely. I understand, Kevin, that there's a lot of music in the show, which you might not have thought about from the description that you've been hearing as we've been talking, but there's a lot of that. Tell me about that. Yeah, so you were talking a little bit about those transitions and the large time frame that the play takes place over. And so one of the things that we've done is we've kind of underscored almost the entire play. And so in addition to hearing the performers' voices, you're going to be hearing sound effects and this score. And the songs are lined up to indicate the era, indicate the time frame that they're in. So, for instance, I think that their first, the time that Terry asks Jay on the first date is 1987, and so for this scene in the parking lot, we're underscored by Hearts Alone, and sometimes it gives kind of that emotional feel to it, and then there's another time where they're talking about whether or not someone committed adultery, and we're hearing underneath Shaggy's "It Wasn't Me," So it's sometimes the score really underlines what's happening. Sometimes it's a counterpoint, but it definitely adds into the experience of making it really theatrical. It adds in a theatrical element that makes it really pull together as a show. The show is The Parking Lot, live in the parking lot at CSPS, September 18th through the 26th. That's right. What is showtime? 7:30 curtain, so to speak. Yeah.
Virtual curtain.
Yeah. The virtual curtain. Yeah. You can get tickets at mirrorboxtheatre.com or legionarts.org, the CSPS website. I imagine you can register for both places. Before we go, Scot and Marcia, And we don't want to do spoilers, but do you have a favorite line, a favorite moment in the show you want to tease us with? Scott, you go first.
There's quite a few. As Kaven was talking about the underscoring music thing, the thing that I have really appreciated with that is the game show music that we use in one scene. That's really cool.
Marcia?
One of my favorite lines is, and it won't give any away, is when excuse me, you have what? I like that line a lot.
No context for you.
You have to come see it to find out.
Well, again, it's mirrorboxtheatre.com or legionarts.org for tickets. Well, good luck with your final few days of rehearsals. I'm sure you're happy to be rehearsing this week outdoors rather than last week.
It's true. It's significantly more pleasant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, good. Hopefully the weather will hold out. I know that the early predictions are pretty good for the next several days. So good luck with that. Good luck with the show. And thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thanks, Dennis.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio many weekday mornings at 10:20, or download the podcast, watch or listen on your own schedule at kcck.org/culture, or using your favorite podcast app. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.